Fox 5 News at noon starts right now.
Now at noon, Kamala Harris has chosen her running mate. She'll appear at a fundraiser tonight with her VP pick, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. But first,
unfortunately, I don't believe this storm is done with us yet.
Tropical storm Debby doesn't appear to be done with Georgia. It's already caused flooding in southeast and coastal Georgia, and more rain is still on the way. Plus, people in Florida have started cleaning up after Debby hit as a Category 1 hurricane yesterday, but flooding there thwarts those efforts. Let's start with a live look at Sumter County, South Carolina. Dark clouds and rain cover the camera as Tropical Storm Debby sits over Georgia and South Carolina. Good afternoon, and thank you so much for choosing Fox 5 for your afternoon news. I'm Alex Whitler. It's good to be with you. Storm surge and tropical storm advisories are in effect for coastal towns in Georgia, as well as parts of the coastal Carolinas. This as Debby continues to sit over Georgia and South Carolina, flooding roads, homes, businesses. In Savannah, residents are to be on high alert for life-threatening floodwaters and unpredictable flash flooding. We do have live team coverage for you this afternoon. Fox 5 Storm Team meteorologist Jeff Hill is tracking the storm. Deidre Dukes is monitoring the state's response. Fox 5's Kim Leffler will have a look at the conditions in South Georgia, but we do start with Fox 5 Storm Team meteorologist Alex Forbes. He has been live all morning in the Savannah area. So Alex, how are things now?
Yeah, Alex, it's actually eerily quiet here along the coast, and the reason being the center of the storm is not far from us at all. In fact, it is about to pass Savannah as we speak. Now, we are here on the riverfront because look at this. There is nothing going on. The Georgia Ports Authority has closed the Savannah port today. The Brunswick port is also closed up across the state line into Charleston. That port is also closed. The reason being the center of the storm is re-emerging now over the Atlantic Ocean, and that means the winds are going to get worse here across the parts of the South Carolina low country and into coastal Georgia here. But as I was mentioning earlier, I can see the clouds quite literally spinning above me here. This is the center of the storm now passing over Savannah, and that means it is now moving back into the Atlantic Ocean. As it does so, it's going to basically stick a straw in the Atlantic Ocean, be able to gain a lot more moisture, and that means we're going to be looking at more rainfall here in coastal Georgia in the days to come, an additional 4 to 7 inches. Governor Brian Kemp briefed earlier today, and he had a piece of good advice, and that is be patient because this storm is not done. We still have a couple days to go here in Savannah. The kids going to be out of school again tomorrow here in Chatham County. The port, though, is planning on reopening. Live in Savannah, I'm Alex Forbes, Fox 5 News.
I know you've been busy all morning. We appreciate it. It's time now for a check of today's weather with a live look across downtown Atlanta from our Fox 5 net cam. Things look very different here than they do in South Georgia, let alone Florida's coast. So let's check in with Fox 5 Storm Team meteorologist Jeff Hill. The good news is Debby isn't really impacting us here, but it's still something to keep in mind, especially if you have friends and family in that area.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially as you go on up into South Carolina. It looks like that's where the heaviest rain is going to be, as the storm, as Alex was saying, down in Savannah, is going to continue to make its way out into the Atlantic Ocean. Once it does, it should re-strengthen. Right now it has winds of about 40 miles an hour, expected to get back to about a 60-mile-per-hour storm as it kind of just curls out into the Atlantic and then makes landfall again somewhere near Charleston as we head into Thursday morning. So this is Tuesday noontime. It's going to take that long for it to get all the way over here. So it's basically almost going to be 48 hours sitting just offshore, and that's the reason why they're going to get such heavy amounts of rainfall, especially in the South Carolina area as you get closer to Charleston. Nothing happening at home right now. So here's a look at the official track. Winds of 40 miles an hour, pretty much right on top of Savannah, moves out into the Atlantic Ocean. Again, kind of sits there, really doesn't move much, and then starts making its way up to the north as we get into Thursday morning with winds of 60 miles an hour. So that'll be its second landfall. First landfall was all the way down in Florida. This will be the second landfall, and then it'll continue to make its way up to the north all the way up toward Richmond as we head into Friday morning, and then continuing on into the northeast as you head into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, eventually as a tropical depression. So by then will have weakened, but still could have a lot of heavy rainfall, especially for the northeast. Outside right now, 84 degrees. The dew point's at 68. Humidity, or the heat index right now at 88. Humidity 59%. Still a little bit of a breeze out there right now. Instead of coming in out of the east, the circulation is more out of the north right now. And we got that north wind coming in at 16 miles an hour. 82 in Athens, 85 in Gainesville, 81 right now in Canton. You head to the south, temperatures are in the low 80s down around Griffin, 83 in LaGrange. Our high temperature today about 91 here in Atlanta, a little warmer out to the northwest and a little bit cooler off to the east, 87 in Eatonton, 88 degrees in Athens. So not really looking for much rain today, maybe a stray shower at best, but again, it will be a hot one this afternoon with temperatures near 90. But stay tuned, we'll take a look at the tropical storm in more detail and have our forecast here coming up. Alex?
Okay, Jeff, thanks. This morning, Governor Brian Kemp delivered an update on Tropical Storm Debby's impact and some of the safety measures put in place. Fox 5's Deidre Dukes joins us live from Southeast Atlanta with the very latest. Deidre.
Yeah, Alex, and the governor's message to residents in the affected areas: we are not out of the woods yet. With a second round of severe weather forecast, the governor held a news conference here at the State Operations Center at GEMA headquarters this morning. Now, the southeast region is experiencing a lull after the first round of heavy rains and strong winds rolled through. But it's predicted Tropical Storm Debby will circle back around, bringing with it a second round of severe weather to the area, anywhere from 4 to 8 inches of rain and the possibility of severe flooding along the coast and inland. Now, several downed trees are reported, and some 47,000 residents are without power. Ports in Brunswick, Savannah, and Charleston remain closed. And the Georgia National Guard has 300 soldiers and airmen ready to provide whatever support is needed. Officials are urging residents in South Georgia to stay off the roads if they do not have to be out, to allow emergency responders, GDOT, and utility crews to better respond to storm-related incidents.
We're asking people to be patient with us, try to stay off the roads, let us get in there, let the DOT and Forestry Commission and DNR strike teams with chainsaws get in there and clear the roads, so we get the utility companies in there, get emergency vehicles in there, and do what we need to do. If there's any kind of search and rescue that we need to do, either now or into the future, that we're able to do that, and let us get as much as we can done before this storm comes back and hits us again. Hopefully it doesn't do that. But we have to prepare and warn people that it's likely that that is going to happen.
Now, sadly, Georgia officials confirming one death here in the state as a result of that storm. At the same time, we are told that during this lull, power crews have already moved out into the affected areas in an effort to restore power to as many residents as they can before the second round of storms. In Atlanta, Deidre Dukes, Fox 5 News.
Okay, Deidre, all of that is good information to note. Thanks. The powerful storm dumped heavy rain on a town in South Georgia, leaving behind massive flooding. Fox 5's Kim Leffler is live in Blackshear with our continuing team coverage. Kim, I see you're bundled up there. What's the situation?
Well, we're seeing the rain and the wind start to pick up here again, really in the few minutes. It was relatively dry here this morning, but we are starting to see some isolated areas of flooding, like in this neighborhood here behind me. We've also seen some roadways here that still have some water over it, but there are a lot of areas that where the water does appear that it was covering roadways in some spots, but it is since receded. But of course, we still have all this rain coming, so flooding definitely still a concern in this area. This is one spot that got hit with Hurricane Idalia last year, and residents we talked to in this area say this storm is nothing compared to what they saw last year. Take a listen.
Bad as the last storm, I don't think, as far as the wind and all. But I know the river has been up since then. The river has been. I haven't seen any sandbars in a while, and it's hurt me. I do land surveying, and it's been pretty rough right here this week. I'm probably not going to be able to work.
Now we know over in Lowndes County, over in the Valdosta area, there are more power outages than we're seeing in this area. We know Lowndes County has about 24,000 people currently without power, but crews are out in force working to get that power restored. We also did catch up with the city manager of Waycross a little bit earlier this morning, and he told us they're really not seeing a lot of flooding issues, and that's because they cleared a lot of the canals and also put in some bigger pipes after last year's storm to prepare for any storms they might see this year. We're going to have much more from him coming up later on this afternoon right here on Fox 5. Live this afternoon in Blackshear, Kim Luffler, Fox 5 News.
Okay, Kim, thank you. And as Hurricane Debby continues on its path, or should we say Tropical Storm Debby, one Metro Atlanta church group is heading to the disaster zone to help those in need. The Cleanup and Recovery Unit with the Georgia Baptist Convention says it's armed with power tools, sprayers, and more to help clear debris from homes. They'll do so free of charge.
Our main concern is flooding in homes and businesses and churches, that type of thing. We're glad to be of service, but we're sorry that they have personally been impacted.
Right now, all ministries are on standby. You can visit the Georgia Baptist Disaster Relief Facebook page for real-time changes. Top of any developments by downloading the Fox 5 News app. We also have a weather app, all to keep you informed and safe. Vice President Kamala Harris has picked a Minnesota Governor Tim Walz to be her running mate. Walz is a military veteran and union supporter who helped enact an ambitious Democratic agenda for his state, including sweeping protections for abortion rights. We expect Vice President Harris to release a video announcement before her campaign rally, which is set for tonight in Pennsylvania. She had planned to make stops in Raleigh and Savannah this week, but canceled them because of the storm. We have much more on Harris's pick a bit later this hour. Police say a possible love triangle ends in a deadly fight at a downtown Atlanta hotel. We'll explain. Plus, a reported case of mistaken identity leads to rapper T.I.'s arrest. How he fixed that issue. Coming up.